And we're recording. So, Valdret, hit us up with a recap from last time, then, please.
Okay, so I'm doing this in narrator voice. No, I'm not doing the whole recap in old man. So we woke up in a field outside the Golden Keep, and Torbrun cooked us a nice evening meal that gave us some negative effects and some positive effects. And then there was a huge discussion of like what we should do with the stick or my walking stick. There was discussion of potentially blowing up the bank, going to the docks in the Golden Keep, or walking towards Firefall or to another area to try and get on a ship and eventually make our way to, I think it was the Iron Dominion, to go into the port. So Ariel managed to change her form to look like a mirrored form and remove like the disguise magic from us, from herself, but we still had it on us. It was then decided that she would go into town with Solothar as her bodyguard, quote unquote, to get disguises for the dwarfs. She ended up meeting a guy in there who was royalty and decided to flirt with her and then invite her to dinner on a date. She agreed to this date. Don't know why. She got disguises and then came back out and met the dwarfs. While they were in the city, the dwarfs having a nice discussion, and then decided we would now be known as the Fellowship of the Stick.
All right, then. Anyone got anything else they want to add from other characters' perspective, perhaps?
Lothar was extremely pessimistic for an extremely long time. I think it delayed the session by at least an hour.
Yeah, he's always been pessimistic. He's not pessimistic; it's just prudent.
Yeah, it's
just prudent.
Definitely.
That's it.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, I buried some mushrooms in a place I might not.
Oh yeah,
maybe should not have buried those mushrooms.
It's fine. Let's bring this extremely aggressive, invasive species from another plane into ours. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Ecosystem and all that.
The future writes itself, some say. But as I believe it was mid-afternoon where we resume our story, as the adventuring party had done a scouting mission into the Golden Keep. Come back successful in your endeavors, proving that it was potentially safe for the time being for you all to, at possibly haste, make your way through and cut through to the harbor and try and make headway to vacate this peninsula that you find yourselves upon. Or alternatively, you could acquiesce the request of a seemingly charming Duke Ernest, in his earnest request to have Ariel, who gave a false name to go with her elven identity, an invitation to his own tavern guest house of posh origins in one of the upper districts of the Golden Keep itself. As the party mulls its options over, we resume the setting. What do you all do?
What do you think, Ariel?
About what?
On taking the Duke's offer or not?
The Duke?
Yeah, there was a guy, Duke Derek something. He wanted us to stay at the Golden Pear. I think we said that we'll do it, but in two different groups, right? So the dwarves traveling together and the two of us together. You as my bodyguard, and we'll just spend the night there and leave on the following day.
Just so you know, to me. I've known my share of noblemen. He's not just after the performance. Yeah. So, sleep with a dagger close.
So, a couple hours ago, you were afraid to go into the city at all. Now you want to go on a holiday?
Not not exactly a holiday, but I did promise.
Well, we were put on the spot.
Yeah.
A performer that just gets an offer from a very potentially wealthy patron that refuses the offer. Well, there's a word we have for that. It's called suspicious.
Yeah, we're just trying to cover our tracks so that it's anything I leave behind with this guy's.
If we hadn't run into him, it would have been avoidable the moment he noticed Ariel. Well, that kind of limited our options.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like the prelate's guards after us. Not sure I want some infatuated nobleman's goons looking for us either.
So, is there a ship we need to catch, or what's the deal at the docks?
Lothar would know, right? Lothar would know what ship goes from the Dominion to.
Yes. Okay. So there's a sky ship. Oh goodness me, Aaron, what was the name of the vessel you nearly got on? Session 1. Session 0.
Session 1.
It's like Golden Dawn or Dawnbreaker or something like that.
I'm just trying to scroll up.
There is one skyship that does a straight non-stop route from Golden Keep to
Golden Dawn.
Golden Dawn, that was it. So the Golden Dawn skyship goes from the Golden Keep all the way up to the Iron Dominion in Steadfast. Alternatively, you would have to seek probably multiple connection journeys via sea if you wanted to go that way. Or you could perhaps make way for another skyship docking location and try and seek journey that way.
So we could either take the straight journey, which I'm assuming would be expensive from Lothar's.
Very.
Great. We could either take a straight journey, although at the price,
we're talking hundreds of gold ahead.
Or I think it's likelier that we can map ourselves a course through some smaller relays, potentially earn some coin on the side while we travel.
Don't we just want to get on the first ship that leaves?
The first ship that leaves? Yeah, fair enough. As long as that's not the most expensive one, sure.
Oh, does that mean we can go to New Earth?
Right. We wanted to go to New Earth.
Aye, we wanted to see me village. I wanted to see me dwarf brethren.
Are they still there?
Oh, it's not happened yet. I'm sure.
Is anyone you knew still alive?
Oh, that's why we go see if my village is there.
Oh, might as well, depending on where we manage to get a ship towards. But I think for tonight we're going to have to pretend Ariel is a performer that really, really wants to take the Duke's offer. They really, really want to get paid. So, what was the tavern called, Ariel?
Golden Pear.
Oh, might as well make our way back there. You two book in separately. Change your clothes in case they gave out any details.
Oh, what you think I'm doing? I'm trying to fit in this. Oh, it's not built for a fat dwarf like
me. One of you might also want to shave. Or at least trim your beard. Changes.
I'll tuck it in.
All like 15 inches of your beard tucked in.
Yep.
It goes underneath the vestments. No. You just see this extra podge.
So,
The party has a couple of hours to kill before the alleged 7 o'clock meeting is when the invitation was, and the only thing to discuss alongside what you wish to do with that time, couple of hours you have, is if you wish to arrive fashionably late, early, or on time.
Lothar would suggest the two parties arriving separately, preferably the dwarves first, before us.
Yes, we should check to see if there's any ships leaving today or tomorrow or sometime within the next weekdays. I don't recommend staying in the city
Me neither.
for any longer than we need to, which means if a ship's leaving today, we're skipping that meeting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, agreed. So shall we, gentlemen?
Sure.
Right, off we go then. So
well.
the short men get to go first.
Hmm?
The short
means-
ones go first.
No. I wouldn't call you short, just not tall.
I don't know what's more rude. All right, Grandpa, with your walking stick. Let's keep it moving.
Before we do I have still the red cloak from the past? Well, the future, or the past, the future. Did Dan send me through with the cloak that I kept from the
Your
Feywilds?
inventories are unaffected. However, it would be up to Ariel as to who because I believe Ariel bought 3 new cloaks, so you would have.
There are 3 new cloaks for each of us, and the cloak from the Feywild was in Ariel's inventory.
Should I cover the stick with a cloak? So just to be safe.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Okay. So, cloak is out of sight as best you can, stowed away. The 2 dwarfs make their way back into the keep. Are you 2 following at a distance, or are you going to stay out in the city for a few hours?
We're going to. Lothar would suggest not sticking to the dwarves just yet, in case they might be looking for a group. So, put a little bit of a distance.
Yeah.
All right.
How about we go and try to find out when the next ship towards our destination is, just so we know the.
Good
Maybe
option,
we can
but
ask about the.
we shouldn't enter the city so quick after them. So let's give them a head start.
Okay. Sure.
And then we can move on. Check out the docks first. I mean, pretty sure Duke, what's his name, isn't going to mind you being late. If I know noblemen, they prefer their guests being late. Makes their guests seem important,
Oh man.
and so makes them seem even more important by association.
Very well. So, as the 2 young and vibrant dwarves make their spring step back towards the Golden Keep, to where do you head from inside?
We just passed the gates with flying colors.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
No guards. Okay.
Well, the guards
Okay.
are there, but you just waved on by. No issues.
Morning. I mean, afternoon.
Stay off the whiskey, old one.
Don't mind the old man.
Good stuff. Oh, we're gonna go docks and have a look at the fish or the ships.
Hope you got your dock pass, and that's as much as you hear.
What do you mean?
If you've said that in passing, he's not heard it. But if you've actually stopped, then
Where do we get a dock pass, young'un?
well, I assume if you go to the docks, you need your dock pass. You'll have had it on if you've come in, or if you're departing, or if you're a member of the harbour crew.
Oh, certainly. Oh, it's in my pocket. Don't worry, guy.
Well, no,
Thank
just make sure
you.
you show it to the quartermaster. He's at the Great Lift. You know, he should be. He'll wave you down once you've had inspection.
Oh yeah, I remember the Great Lift. We'll be fine. Appreciate it.
You just hear on the dwarves. Memories like hold water barrels.
They're red gods, aren't they, Dublin? They're bastards.
So as the bustling city welcomes you back, the sun somewhat on its slow descent into the later of the afternoon, early evening, probably about 5 o'clock at this moment. You are currently in the 5th tier of the Golden Keep, making your way through sort of the trade district, general artisan tier itself. What is it you wish to do?
Question. So, ages ago, I was going to be boarding the Golden Dawn with Tom.
You were.
Yes. Do I have a dock pass from that?
You do not. Oh, hang on. Yes, you just don't have a ticket for the Golden Dawn. So yes, you would have a dock pass from that in your inventory. Yes.
Is the dock pass dated?
You have this thought, rummage through your items. You find the very small piece of parchment, which is like a sealed golden skull stamped with sealed wax. And that just seems to be all it is. It's a particular just parchment with a particular wax emblazoned stamp, and you see it is not dated at all.
Hey, Tobin, look at this. I got me one of them passes.
So we can actually use the lift that we already used without a dock pass. Blimey, let's go! Let's get a move on.
So as you make your way over to the harbour, as you approach out, you can see the sky port is currently vacant. There are no sky ships in dock. And as you follow the winding steps down to the grand elevator or the great lift, you can see set up there, posted up, is about a dozen guards. Several are paired off. A couple stood around a table with what is clearly what could be a captain of the guard, or as you probably infer is the quartermaster, who is sat with behind a table with several parchments and books and ledgers sprawled out on the desk. Seems to have several large bags of coin on his desk and a large chest sat behind him, where there are 2 guards also guarding over that box. As you can see, he's stopping those arriving from the lift. They step off, form a queue, are seen to by the quartermaster, passed on by entry into the city, and also a small, about 4 different people in front of you who are lined up awaiting to board the lift to go down, also waiting for clearance from the quartermaster.
Let's eye this from a distance, see what they're asking.
Okay, make a perception check if you want to be earwigging at a somewhat close distance.
17.
On a 17. You just
I will
hear
do the
sort
same.
of general communication. Who are you listening to? The guards, the quartermaster, or just the general riffraff?
Mostly the quartermaster, but keeping an eye out for any sort of whispering from the guards between the quartermaster, just seeing if they're like checking, like, maybe this guy's suspicious, or.
Okay.
But mostly the quartermaster's conversations.
So I think you would probably pick up from the quartermaster. You just sort of hear the general. There's a small family of 3 step up. Humanoid in stature. You can't make out what they are, as they're cloaked and hooded and set up ready for travel. As they approach, passes please. All right, thank you. Where are you heading? Oh, yep. Flying jetty. Yep, she's on the 4th mooring on the right. You'll find her down there. Good old Captain Squall. He'll see you too. Yep, that'll be. Have you got your pass? Yep, thank you very much. Nope, safe journeys. Hope to see you soon. And he waves them by. You just hear the general thanking, and next individual steps forward. Looks to be in a travel cloak, large rucksack over his shoulder, hooded. Doesn't say anything, presents the paperwork. Captain looks up. Name? You don't catch it with the 17. Rank? Ah. I know a few people who served with them. Yeah, well, pleasure to see a veteran. Safe journeys. He's waved on by. You would hear a couple of the guards commenting on that very individual. You want to tail that one? Yeah, okay. There's two individuals board the lift. Two of the guards board the lift, standing behind that suspicious solo traveler, just paying close attention to him. Next, as there is no more line before you, you realize you are now being waved forward.
Afternoon, fine sir. I'm just
Afternoon, old timer.
wondering, when's the next ship to New Earth?
New Earth? Well, there's no skyships to New Earth, as I'm sure you, old timer, would know like yourself. But I think you could probably find a bit of a convoluted loop if you went to probably Port Kiln. You might get a connection there. Let's see. Next ship to Port Kiln, I've got, and he looks through his notes. Tomorrow at 11, departure.
Oh, magic!
What will we need to get us on that ship?
You would need a
Coin,
captain's
brave.
invitation or a dock pass, or you would just a general disclosure of any goods or trade equipment that you'll be taking with yourselves.
Where would we store this information? Apologies, we're new here.
I see. Where are you from?
Well,
Oh, I'm from New Earth myself. Got me passe, fine one.
I see. All right. Okay. So long distance. It's a pleasure to have you with us. And yes, it turns to you, Torbrun, seeming to pick up more interest now. So you're not from around here, but how did you get here? We're the only port on the peninsula.
How did I get? I don't even know how I got to this continent.
Forgive him.
Arrived?
He's had
You
too
would-
much to drink today, fine sir. He's been in your bars today. Honestly, he's a wreck. Doesn't know if he's coming or going.
Well, I'm afraid we have a
Oh,
policy
but
of no intoxicated passengers, so I'm afraid you will have to
Oh,
make sure you sober up before your departure in the morning, and I'll be making sure we have a test for you.
I'll make sure of that. Don't you worry, fine one.
I see.
Well, thank you for your help. I best get him to his hotel. Well, his tavern, should I say. Get him in his bed to sober up for the morning.
Indeed, you go find one of those old taverns. Yes, yeah.
What do you mean? There's nothing wrong with me.
I'll just drag him away.
Okay. All right. And you just hear at this point, all right, chaps, you hear the bell, and off in the distance is one of the cathedral chimes, large steeple with the big bell that's ringing out throughout the city. You hear it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chimes. And at that, almost in an instant, the entire double desk that the quartermaster was sat at is cleared. All the coin purses you hear in large, heavy amounts of coinage moving, cast aside, thrown into the chest. The chest is sealed, locked away, the table picked up, and almost without question and slightly pushing you aside, this convoy of now 10 guards and the quartermaster make their way back up into the city gates. Signing off. See you in the morning, he says in passing.
All right. See you tomorrow, sunshine.
As they make their way back into the city.
Well, at least we know what ship we're getting on tomorrow.
What do we need to get on, though?
You need to find a pass.
Well, I was about to ask him.
What if the Duke can get us all passes?
What, the slimy old chap?
I am sure Ariel will woo him. And we'll get the passes.
Sure. Do we want to dip down the elevator?
I'd rather not get caught by some guards, you know?
Which guards?
Let's go.
Well, as you look out, you can see there are still some guards stationed on the docks way below you. There's a few you can spot from here. Make a perception check.
13.
13, you see the two that went down. They're currently on the elevator at the moment, going down on the descent still. And you know it's going to be, well, having ridden the elevator yourself, well, they're probably halfway down that lift on this descent at the moment. You're going to have to wait for it to come back up again, and then it will go down again. So that could be quite about half an hour potentially, depending on how fast the lift goes. And in addition to that, you can see the two going down on the lift, and you can spot maybe 4 or 5. And Voldress, you spot an additional 3 that are lurking towards further down the ship that you didn't spot. So that puts about 8 to 10 on the docks in total.
Oh, there's all them down there.
All right, let's give this a pass.
How about we go find a pub?
Let's see if we can find a guard on the way who can tell us where we might get us this dock pass.
The Duke will do that, don't you, Woody?
I'd rather
We
double check.
need to keep a low profile.
You know, the barkeep at the tavern might actually be able to tell us.
Oh, now you're talking me ears. I gotta use my stick again. I've let that slip. That's the go.
You don't get to get a single drink, all timer.
So, to which bar are you heading?
This is where I wish I made a note of that one he wanted us to go to.
Golden Pear.
The meta
What
pigeon.
was that one? I didn't quite hear it.
The Golden Bear.
Golden Pear.
We'll go to the Golden.
But do you know where the Golden Pear is, sir?
I shall walk around and we'll find the garden house.
Okay. You collar a guard enough, he gives you directions up to the second tier of the Golden Keep. And it takes you about 20 minutes to find it. But as you do, this wonderfully gargantuan building, it is 3 stories tall and at least 150 to 200 meters, 200 feet in length. And you sort of are taken aback actually because the number of excessive furnishings that on the exterior of this building, all of which painted in gold, red, green, wonderfully exquisite textiles are hanging from the rafters, and curtains on the outside and inside that you can see, and a warm, grand entrance is open and inviting you in. On the entrance, as you go through, you step through the doors, and immediately you are greeted by 2 doormen who are dressed in a fine, wonderfully clean, perfect uniform, which is just full of brown leather with gold, green, and red stripes on the lapels and top of their sort of shirts as well. One of them just gives a low bow and just says, "Good evening, Master Dwarfs. May I help you?"
I've come for a drink.
I see. Are you on the invitation list for this evening?
I suppose not.
We just heard it's the best place in the old Golden Keep.
I see. Well, our notoriety is well known throughout the city. It's wonderful to hear such praise of our works. However, unfortunately, this evening there is a bit of a special, almost impromptu do that's been put on, and there's a bit of a guest list, I'm afraid. So we could probably get you in at the bar, but there's no guarantee that we could get you any seating, I'm afraid. Is that going to be adequate?
Ah, a bar, you see. Do you know who you're talking to?
No. Should I take your name so I can introduce you?
He's messing with you, barkeep. He's messing with you.
I'll
He'd
tell
like-
you my name, don't you worry. My name is Mr. Smellies. It's spelled Smellies. Lyes. Volky Smellies.
Volky Smellis. Very well. Make a deception check.
Here's my thing. No.
On a 14. He's going to roll his insight. You see, this individual looks to be sort of his mid-40s, and the much younger individual with him is sort of standing waiting for instruction. You can see a small little quill is pulled out, and what you think he is actually writing, but you realize the quill is moving on its own as the name is scribed into a quick parchment. Very well. Volky Smelis, where do you hail from, sir?
New Earth.
New Earth. Fantastic. Okay. And what's your connection to the Duke?
Oh, I've just come for travel, to be honest with you. There's no connection. I just heard from me brethren that this is the best place.
I see. So notoriety precedes you. Understood. I will see when the Duke can find time for you if he has a moment in his busy schedule this evening.
No worries.
Do you have anything you wish us to take? Travel coats or weaponry, etc.?
You can take me pickaxe if you want.
You sort of hand out the pickaxe. The 40-year-old individual is now just sort of looking at this, holding it, and then you can see his white gloves getting discolored immediately with the debris that's on this axe, and he sort of hands it off to the younger one and begins unceremoniously cleaning his hands and says, "Well, very well, please follow me this way, and make sure that's set on the separate aisle, please," as he says to the other cleric. Very well. So here is the bar, and you can see before you a sprawling list of seats, just bar stools, and on the far wall is an absolute roaring flame. About 30 feet is the width of this fireplace, almost covering the entire width of the side of this building. And you can see a large, what seems to be like dance floor is being prepared. All the floors are currently in the process of being cleaned. Curtains are being set aside, and there's a bit of a decoration being set up, and almost like a small raised platform in front of the fire being constructed at the moment. All a bit haphazardly and rushed. About 30 feet back from that, you have the bar stool itself. There's about 24 lining this and the worktop of the bar. It's about as tall as you two, and the you can see that there are currently 3 individuals working different sections of the bar itself. Would you like some more suitable sitting furniture?
I'll take a glass of water.
I might be able to find a few supports for yourselves. He comes back.
Oh no, just a glass of water will do.
Okay. You see a pitcher materialize on the bar almost a moment later of just cold water. The 2 dwarves pull up.
Appreciate it.
You hear this scraping, this heavy moving of wood and furniture around as this performance area is being set up in its entirety for the next sort of 10 minutes or so. As 6:30, 6:45 starts to roll on by, what do the guest and her bodyguard do with this time?
I think we should arrive more or less on time, like not ridiculously late, at most 10 or 15 minutes late. But I would like to kind of also go by the docks just to find out what the schedule of the ships is. It's basically similar to what they've already done, so I don't need to roleplay it separately. But it just occurred to me that we didn't do that when we were out and about.
I think we'll say you managed to make your way there uninterrupted. However, as there's not even any guards at top, you would have to ride the lift down to ask someone. but you also don't see there's no notice board, there's no list, there's no sheet scheduling. You would perhaps recall that you saw like the thick ledgers that the quartermaster that you saw earlier was noting, and you deduce that that individual. Sorry, I'm just watching Torben take a roleplay drink from his pitcher too high for him. So you would probably deduce that the timetabling is not public information.
Okay. So then we'll go later.
I see.
Or tomorrow.
Very well.
For that. Anyway, so we arrived to the Golden Fair. I don't know.
What time?
I want 10 minutes late or something like that. Very acceptable.
Very well.
And I don't know. I just is there anybody there to greet us?
So, on the lead up to this, as you hear the bells chime 7, the two dwarves in there, you see coming bumbling out of one of the upstairs rooms in a bit of a huff. You can see him sort of stretching and still putting on a bit of a formal frill around his neck and a bit of a tire, scraping over and just almost trips up over himself running down the stairs. This individual figure, who looks to be of somewhat importance, runs over to the bar and says, "Right, everyone in positions, everyone. She'll be here in a moment." You see all the staff making their way, lining up. And a low bit of music is started as a small couple of flutes and woodwinds are in the background on the other side of the room. And the two doormen are dressed as they were. You can see a fresh, clean set of white gloves on both of them. And the Duke is stood, shifting his pose continuously, seems to be leaning sort of on the bar towards the entrance, and then sort of just changes his position and stands over and sort of just like constantly looking at the door, and he's looking on edge. After about 15 minutes of watching this individual squirm in place, you see approaching the door and hear the familiar voice of Sir Lothar introducing his protection at the doorway.
Well, I'm pretty sure whoever's next to the door is going to be greeted by this absolute unit, who is also now a fat unit.
Takes up most of the doorway.
My lady here has what you would call a reservation for tonight. Made directly with the owner of this establishment, I believe.
Do Voldrith and I hear this conversation?
Yes, you are. You're in earshot, yeah. Yes, very well. And what would the lady's name be?
And I look back at Ariel.
Vanariel Lorin. Miss Lorin.
Ah, the Lady Vanariel. Please, you're most welcome. I will inform you that the Duke that you are here. As you step in, you immediately clock eyes with the Duke, who instantly turns his back, attempting to pretend he's not seen you. The concierge walks up. He turns around slowly and just says, "Venarial, I'm so happy you could come. I'm so relieved. I hope you had a safe journey. Please take this lady's cloak and see that the bodyguard is well cared to. I believe there's plenty of space at the bar. We've made room for you this evening, my lady, and thank you, kind knight. Your services won't be required while she's in my company."
Actually, my services are bound and paid for in whoever's company she is.
Of course. Sorry, I didn't wish to insult you, good sir. It was more for. Can we have you a drink? Either of you?
Certainly, but I would strongly advise against. And he looks at Venariel. I would strongly advise against you eschewing eyesight with me, my lady. This is still a foreign city.
Of course.
Oh, of course, please. You don't wish to be so prudent. You're in safest of hands in the Golden Pearl. There is no ill doers or ill-gotten gains here. It is all quite hunky dory, as they say, I believe. So can I? Yes, right. I did mean to ask. So with your performance, I sort of made a bit of a faux pas. What is it that you play? I just wasn't quite sure what instrument to prepare for you upon your arrival this evening.
I play horn instruments.
Could you say that again, please?
Horned instruments.
The horn. Okay.
It's like it can be the hunting horns, as that was popular in medieval times, but it's also any bugle or those kind of like
Sure.
brass horn instruments. So those are the type she plays. And the medieval one would have mostly resemble a bugle.
A bugle, yes.
Mhm.
Right, okay, yes, no problems. It was, in fact, that was my second guess. Right, no, and you can just immediately see in the background, you can just see like his hand, Lothar, you're observing this, his hand is like just flicking, giving instructions. You can see a whole selection of like small mandolins, a small harp is being hastily moved off stage, and you can just see that someone's running off to go get something else from the back room.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm
Well,
so appreciative that you're here. Fantastic. I do have a few guests already lined up upstairs. Please make yourself comfortable. Would you be all right in sort of an hour or so to put on a bit of a performance? It would be my absolute honor.
that would be perfectly fine. But
Uh,
please know, I already have scheduled to not be here for a very, very long time. So it will probably be just tonight that we'll have this encounter, let's say.
You can see he is like a combination of crestfallen and trying very hard not to show it. But he says, "Oh, I completely understand. You know, a woman of such of your global recognition, you must always be ever so busy and always on the move. It is only such a pleasure that we
You
have you here this
flatter
evening."
me. You flatter me. It's
Oh,
nothing
I,
of
I
that
try,
sort.
I try, no problem.
How delightful.
Apologies, continue.
Don't mind. I'm sure one of the great craftsman dwarves that we have in our vicinity is just always a pleasure to have comical jokes. Yes. Well, if you wouldn't mind making your way, please take a seat anywhere as you please. I will bring the guests down. Thank you. You may.
Okay, she's gonna sit at a table with multiple chairs and just behave very civilly and politely and make conversation and basically gain contacts if that's a thing you want to do.
Sure.
Lothar is going to sit across from her and do his best to look as menacing, and you do not want to sit at this table.
You go through me.
Yeah.
Indeed. So the two dwarves are at one end of the room, and you two are nestling down into the other, where sort of almost like a restaurant-esque is. It's clearly been adapted for this evening, for an evening of entertainment. There are several guests currently in. However, as shortly after the Duke has gone upstairs, you can hear there are multiple doors opening, and you can hear a lot of footfalls coming down the stairs as a huge entourage of well-dressed, regal-looking individuals are making their way downstairs and effectively fill up the bar, fill up the room, fill up the dance floor, and fill up the tables as well. You can see mostly human, though you can also see quite a few. There's no dwarves, but I would say just make everybody roll an perception check for me. We'll see what you pick up amongst the guests. 17 for the ranger, 17 for the paladin. Ariel is immediately taken by one of the wall paintings, and it
Yes.
reminds you from home, this like Fey-wild illusionary oil painting that's on the wall, and it's just like you can't quite see the plaque at the bottom. It's in a script that you can't read, but it's just fascinating. It just looks like someone's tried to depict their vision of the Feywild, but it's immediately apparent to you that this person has never been to the Feywild.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you
and
for
with
not making her blind.
it's just you're immediately going, oh no, that's not how and your mind is racing on that thought. Voldreth with
Yes.
a 9, you're pretty clear that you notice there is a small wine list and a small ale list that's just in reach of you on the top of the of the bar itself, and that's what takes your fancy. To this 217s, I would probably say, Torbran, you would clock 2 gnomish individuals who make their way down in the descent of this large group of people. Just to put into perspective, there's about 60 people that have now just come down from previous rooms above you. You would spot 2 dwarves in that, so not 2 dwarves, 2 gnomes in that, Torbran, and probably one figure would catch your eye, Salothar. An individual that is very much seems familiar, but only in appearance, and you immediately do a sort of double take, and you know it's not someone you know, but they remind you a great deal of someone from your past. Though this individual is heavily scarred on one side of their face, and they have a slight blue tint to their skin.
My past from my service time in the Dominion with the Order, or after that?
Your past from your childhood.
Okay. So, deep past. He makes a mental note of it.
As you all sort of engage in the revelries and the general music is amped up into a bit more of a lively jig, and the tavern noises and warmth begin to ensue and the pleasantries unfurl. In terms of small talk and connections, you are free to mingle, move around as much as you guys would like.
He looks, turns around and looks at the 2 dwarves and just goes, "Wait, Caston? That you?" Looking straight at Torbran.
What do you want, Baldy?
What in the Dominion's holy name are you doing here?
Well, as you can see, I'm enjoying a nice glass of water.
Barely.
And he makes a little bit of a show, slightly, of telling Gariel, I worked with that dwarf. Used to be a tracker for a military company I ran with a while back. The Raven Banner, I think they were called.
Oh, charming.
Mind if I bring him over? They're trustworthy. Sort
Of
of.
course.
Don't play dice with either of them.
You can also go yourself if you wish.
You know my stance on letting you unsupervised.
While he's having this conversation, I will just grab my glass and I'll just walk over, knowing full well what they're discussing way too long about. I know, Baldy. I'm here.
Oh, I suppose I'll come.
Pull up some chairs for
Of all the
your friend.
places.
It's the Duke, like right next to us now.
You can see the Duke is milling around and he's going from table to table. He's not reached
Right.
yet.
All right.
Last I saw you, you were still in the Dominion. What are you doing here?
Finding walkie sticks and all, losing them, hunting deer, failing miserably.
So business as usual.
Business as usual.
You're always a garbage hunter. And he laughs.
Well, anything's better than a chicken that everyone else eats.
I mean, I can't disagree with that. Does that even taste like water?
He
Probably
hands him the glass. Taste for yourself.
He's got to sober up before we get on the boat at 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh, you're heading off? Where to?
Well, let's go into Port Kiln.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get to New Earth, you know.
I hope to run into me old mate, Steel Sprocket.
New Earth, huh? Lady Venarial, you did talk about visiting New Earth for that song you were writing about the downfall of the dwarves, were you not?
It is definitely a possibility in the future, yes.
Well, I think we just might have an opportunity. Safer to travel in numbers, and old Caston here, I think he's, like I said, horrible hunter, good tracker. I think he might see us to,
I
places
would
where we can find
like
an interesting story.
I would like the party to make a group deception check to convince those who are just passively earwigging with intent.
Nice.
So that's a started strong with a 23, a 20, and then a 4 and an 8. Fortunately, that is a
I've had more
strong
experience in this already.
that is a strong aggregated pass. However, you get the impression that one or two heads are listening with more intent than before. Others seem to have bought in to the story as you're sort of paying attention, casually looking around, sort of trying to get a gauge of onlookers.
The problem is, though, this one has lost his bloody dog pass.
That's a good one. I had to ask the barkeep here if he knew where I could get one. I'll be right
Again,
back.
after 4 years in the city, would Lothar know how to get a dock pass if he wanted to leave, for example?
Yep, you buy them. Essentially, you buy a passage with a ship, you charter a journey, and then the captain will hand you a dock pass as a recipient or receipt of that purchase of price. It's basically a ticket to the ship. It is withdrawn upon you reaching your destination, basically.
Now we can buy one.
Wait,
If we're going to port.
Oh, well,
Just,
that's what's that.
It's not that hard. I've been through the city a couple of times. So, it's a matter of finding your ship, chartering a journey, talking to the captain, and he'll hand you a dock pass.
I'll just have to make sure I get there early enough.
Yeah.
I don't like missing me ships. Sure as hell. Are those airships or are those water ships?
This is a warship.
I will be traveling Port Kiln, I think by sea.
I don't like the airships anyway. I'd rather keep my feet on the ground, you know.
The water, you mean?
The water's closer to the ground than the sky will ever be.
How was that, that old dwarven friend of yours? Keep your feet underground, not in them?
Closer to the earth, the better.
Sir Lothar is going to do a double look around again to see how many people are paying attention, how attentive they are.
Okay. The general guests are. You could make a couple of insight checks, and if we don't wish to roleplay the full evening, that's fine. We can make a couple of rolls. There's a couple of options here. If you want to be milling around and asking guests and getting information, it will be a couple of investigation rolls. Each person can make one roll. Essentially, you can attempt to deceive someone here. You can incite something that you overhear. You can investigate to find fact find, or you can come out with me with a suggestion of something else you would like to do. And then it will move on to the performance of the evening, effectively. So, with Serene making an insight here, what are you in particular looking to observe or gain insight into?
People giving us more attention than it would be due.
You would probably see with the 16 that the two gnomes off in the corner, probably 2 tables adjacent to you, perked up at the mention of Port Kiln, and one of them has intently been listening to your conversation since.
Okay, he's going to make a note of that. And at one point, he is going to inquire at the barkeep as to how to get in contact with the captain and get a representative of a shipping company that can facilitate them getting a dock pass?
Sure. It's explained to you that if you are looking to charter a ship, you need to go down, get clearance from the quartermaster. You have to pay the quartermaster's tip. That gets you onto the dock. The quartermaster will arrange a meeting with that tip with the captain. You'll then book your charter with the captain. He'll then issue you a dock pass for that period of time.
Okay.
Essentially, you're paying off the quartermaster.
Okay.
He acts as the city's broker.
Yep. Well,
So-
I know how to get a dock pass for tomorrow, Lady Venariel. Assuming we are still leaving tomorrow.
Of course. I also really appreciate you taking care of this. There will be a bonus in your next paycheck for
It's
your
what you pay.
thorough use of your intelligence in this situation.
It's what you pay me for.
Yes. I'll pay you more. Just for that.
Is your whole you're leaving with 2 stinking dwarfs?
I've left with worse. Way worse.
Oh no, I don't mean you. I mean the fancy chap over there. She points to the Duke who's strolling around.
I mean, he's our employer for the evening. I mean, Lady Venariel's employer for the evening.
All right. Whatever you fancy.
And I'm assuming it's going to mean a cheaper board here for us, hopefully. Where are you two staying? And your friend's name, I didn't quite catch it.
Mine. Volty.
Volty
You can call him Smelly.
or Voldy?
Volty. Try and find what I wrote down. Volky.
Volky. That's what I thought. So Volky. You give him the same name that you gave at the docks. Essentially, that's what I was checking.
Yeah, well, dwarf names never. I mean, how many names do your lot even have? Like 6 of them? 7? Whatever.
Let's not get into our history. We'll have plenty of time to discuss that on the ship tomorrow. Assuming you're coming.
Oh, we'll do our best.
Well, the ship ain't waiting.
I didn't really fancy a trip with just me escorting Lady Venariel all the way to Eartha, but I said.
What, you don't want to be alone with her? Is that it?
You can easily overpower the man. It's, what was the words? Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
And what a fine linguistical language that is. As you turn around, the Duke is making his entrance to the conversation.
Oh yes, Duke,
Ernest.
Honest, Ernest.
Honest, Ernest. Same, one and the same.
Yes, well, Lady Venariel would like to inquire as to when her performance would be required.
Shortly. I was perhaps hoping to just sort of tie up a few loose ends as I realized your gracious acceptance of performance this evening. I realized we hadn't actually struck an agreement. What is it that I can offer for you in return for your performance this evening?
How about just gold? The percentage of tonight's earnings?
I see. Did you have an amount in mind?
What do you usually offer your performers, if I may ask?
Well, normally we would offer a contract of if you were to be staying for a prolonged period, we would usually throw up the room and board and meals for the duration of the stay as part payment, and then usually we obviously tips would be fully recipient for yourself and kept for yourself, though. Normally, I would say we are honoured to have someone of such of your prestige and notoriety that I'm very more willing to open negotiations realistically, and he
I'm
seems
going
very
to
hesitant to give or commit to anything at this point.
I
Is
am
he-
going to incite his buttery
His waffle
beard.
His waffle.
with a 16,
His-
you don't pick up anything that seems to be misleading. He seems to be genuine in what he's saying.
Is he holding a drink?
He has a small, like, sherry glass in his hand, with very little remaining of liquor.
I will just sort of grab my mark and I will just slap it. Well, man, why don't you just give us 4 rooms for the night? I will call it even. She will be with me in the coming tomorrow, as we'll be traveling supposedly.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize you were on such a short stay. Is this the case? Like, literally almost attempting to disregard the comment, looking for you for approval or discretion, Valeria.
Well,
No,
since the
we
lady,
really aren't staying very long. Like I told you, I can only
I see.
promise to perform here tonight. Beyond that, it really depends on how we manage to deal with the quartermaster at the docks tomorrow.
Oh,
what
you having problems with the quartermaster?
Not at all. It's just we haven't managed to talk to him yet.
Oh, I see. Right. And to where are you looking to travel to, if I may be so bold as to
Port
inquire?
Kiln.
Port Kiln. I see.
Port Kiln.
So perhaps if I could do you a favor, you might perhaps, in addition to the performance, be able to come to an agreement and perhaps give me a favor, and we can also talk price. How does you owe me a favor, but I provide board for the 4 of you for this evening, and free bar for this evening, and a hearty breakfast in the morn, whilst also securing the 2 of you passage to Port Kiln.
I don't
What
think we
is
really need to drink all that much.
what is the price on a charter to Port Hill?
Well, that really does come down to who you know, and I dare say we actually have Captain Mahoy is with us this evening, who might even perhaps be able to enter into some negotiations.
So what you're saying is that her performance tonight is worth you talking to a few friends of yours. That's
Well,
it.
the Master Dwarf, I would like to just politely point out that an evening at the Golden Pear and aboard the ticket price of this evening was 20 gold pieces a head entry fee, and an evening at the Golden Pear is going to set you usually back about 35 gold pieces per night per room. So I believe that's sort of quite a fair offering.
Remember, he said free bar. Let's leave the negotiation to the biggins. Let's go and get some drinks, me wee dwarf friend. Thank you, kind sir. I'll leave it to the grown-ups to discuss.
Since you were so kind to add in the breakfast, we're calling it even for now.
I see. Are you a connoisseur of the conjured illusions, or are you of something of more heartier intake?
I'd rather not have to conjure. And I'll just get close and like, we both know it's garbage.
I see.
Since we're so close to the sea, you happen to have any lobster?
Ah, so would it be a solid secure if I could sweeten the deal with a seafood surprise breakfast?
Oh, you got my vote. And I will just sort of glance over at Ariel and Lothar. What do you say?
Lady Venarial, I think, would like to know exactly what the favor you would require of her in return would be. Aside from tonight's performance, of course.
Ariel just smiles demurely as he says that and nods very gently.
Make an insight check, both of you two, on a 5. So Lothar, the blue-tinted skinned individual, like, is passing.
Wait. Let me adjust that. She is currently dark-skinned elf. Wait, what? Oh yeah, no.
She's the
Ariel is
elf.
blue-skinned. This is the look of that glamored person, the dark-skinned 23-year-old. No, it's a
No,
it's the sun. It's the sun elf. God,
you're the sun
it's
elf
so
at the
hard.
moment.
I'm the sun elf at the moment. I'm
Persona
blonde
3.
and pale-skinned. Persona 3, exactly. I'm already getting lost in them.
Don't worry.
But yeah, she's the sun elf right now with the blonde hair and all that, not blue skin.
With the 18, you start to focus on his words. Unfortunately for you, you lose track of what he's saying and lose the intent because on that 18, just passing behind him, this slightly blue-skinned individual immediately gives you a vibe, and you immediately
What?
detect that recognizable sense that you are in the presence of another changeling.
Oh. That's
That's what your insight does. So Lothar, you get the impression as the Duke goes on and waffles for some degree over the next couple of minutes, where he goes and ums and ahs and effectively surmises that he would be greatly appreciative to have a IOU at the Royal Elven Connections. An Elven Embassy invitation is always a high and costly connection to have, and that's what he would probably be looking to bank upon.
Well, I think it goes without saying that if Lady Venario, and he keeps. Did he notice the blue-skinned person?
You just saw them passing, but you didn't pay super mind to them.
Oh, okay.
So like they are pale white, but they have a blue tint to the color.
Okay.
So
And
just
it
someone
goes-
in the audience, like someone.
Yes, someone walking by. Yeah.
Okay.
It goes without saying that if Lady Venarial is pleased with your skills as host for tonight, I am pretty sure she will be putting a good word to other gentlemen and ladies of her profession, most of them who are elves, much as she is, and she will probably prioritize your establishment on our return journey. Bards and performers, as you probably know, have been a bodyguard for quite a few. Don't stay in one place for long, but they do return to places they enjoy more than several times.
Make a persuasion roll with advantage. See if you can secure the deal. A 16. The Duke ponders, pauses, and after giving it a moment's thought, he gives a low bow and says, "We have an accord," as Captain Mahoy would have me say. I will touch base with him now, and please enjoy this evening, and I very much look forward to the performance. Shall we say in 10 minutes?
Okay.
Very well.
Sounds good.
The stage is yours, as he points to the other end where the fireplace is, and you can see there's now a vacant stage with a selection of horns, varying sizes that have now been set up on the desk, on the stage. Sorry. As he steps away, he makes his way towards the back of the room, and Lothar, as you're sort of following with intent, you can see he walks over to an individual who has one of the biggest hats on in the room. And you can see a close, very familiar engagement is exchanged, quiet, hustled breaths. There's a nodding, there's a handshake, there's a pat on the back, and then there's a forced smile from one party and a roaring laughter from the other one as they part ways. Seemingly an agreement has been struck. It's about at this point, there's a small hand on your shoulder, Torbrun, as I would say you're probably closest to the table here in terms of where this individual's coming from. You turn around and there's a small gnome looking at you at head height whilst you're sat in the chair.
Well met. What can I do for you?
Well met. I believe you are heading in the direction of Port Kiln, are you not?
Who's asking?
A potential investor in services for a delivery.
I'd need a name.
Well, shall we exchange?
Are we in a quiet area of this?
No, you are in the
event?
middle bustling of this environment. It's not quiet, so you're not going to be super overheard, but you are under the no illusion that people could be eavesdropping intently.
Well, spill it.
You first. I don't recognize you.
That's not how asking for a favor works. You came to me.
Well, at least you have your wits about you. And she holds herself with a bit of importance. Jean Gearsprocket.
Would I know the name Gearsprocket?
Make a history roll.
History. 15.
15. You think back to your times in Port Hill and with your companions. You would have heard Gearsprocket occasionally, but it's more of it's sort of affiliation. And it's just known that a acquirer of items, there's a phrase, if you can't find it, find a Gearsprocket.
Right, okay, so like
a
sell
notable
or
procurer of
procure.
items. Well, that's my name. Don't wear it out. And what's yours, good Master Dwarf?
A Gearsprocket, eh? You probably know Phineas, don't you?
Phineas.
Steelsprocket.
Ah, a name I am all too familiar with. In fact, you have me at a disadvantage there. I was about to enlist in your services to, well, if you were interested, into actually making a delivery for Mr. Steelsprocket.
Well, I wasn't planning on meeting him per se, but I was certainly trying to see if I could run into him when I get there anyway. Name's Torbrin.
Torbrin. I see. No family name?
Let's keep that where it is for now.
I see. Well, straight to business. 6 crates, about half a tonnage. What'd you say if you were to escort it to Mr. Steelsprocket? 25 gold.
What are they? 25 gold, you say?
Indeed.
What's the contents of the crates?
Well, that's not up for disclosure.
See, well, I appreciate the discretion that you're asking for. Discretion also comes at a price. If I don't know what I'm shipping, I better get paid for that discretion.
It's already cleared customs, is on the dock front as we speak. It's just awaiting accompaniment to Steelsprocket across the sea. Very simple. I think 25 gold for your silence and coordination is very ample payment.
All right. The Duke had offered to pay for 2 of the charters, right?
Yes, you got the impression he was not paying for the dwarves.
Right. You know what? I'll toss you a deal. I say deal. I'll toss you a counter offer. You pay for me, mate, for the charter, and I'll get those crates to Phineas.
You forgetting? I got me pass right here.
That's not for that shit, you idiot.
It's just not stamped yet. It's the pass.
Are we close to the barkeep?
You could go to him, or you can call him over. Your call.
Folder, why don't you acquire at the barkeep if you can actually use that for a ship tomorrow? And I'll just sort of scurry forward towards the bar here. Like, come on. I'll come back to the gnome.
Okay.
Oh, it might be a luck. It might be just for me. Otherwise, you're paying for the both of us.
Well, I assumed you already had your own charter ship. If you were making your way to Port Kiln, that's why I made the inquiry. It was effectively a, would you mind just taking a slight detour? And that was all.
Were we told how much a charter to Port Kiln would cost?
Not yet, no.
But yeah, right. You know, very well. You're a tough salesman. Make it 35 gold for the 10 gold for the discretion, 35 total, and I'll bring you the 6 crates straight to Phineas. No questions asked.
I see.
One thing though, whatever we're shipping, it's not dangerous by any means.
Oh, absolutely in the wrong hands.
Now we're talking. I would just sort of give a firm handshake I would just almost slam him away.
Yep.
As a little gnome that he is.
Well, as she raises an arm to reach you, you expect with your might to just completely, uncontrollably forgetting that you're dealing with a dwarf here and not a gnome and not a fellow dwarf. You're surprised as you raise your hand and effectively an aggressive high five, though your hand is stopped as soon as it goes in impact, as you realize the hand that meets you is the gnome's mechanical contraption in an enlarged steel and cogs spurring fist that catches your hand and gives you a shake firmly.
I expected nothing less from someone who's in business with Phineas.
Well,
very well.
We go a long way. Thank you very much. You will need this and these. And she presents to you a small parchment, and you can see several purses, about 4 in total, small bags containing some kind of loose. One sounds like coin, another sounds like just mechanical bits and pieces, and the other one sounds like a bag of keys. So she gives you 3 in total.
I'll sort of juggle the one with coins. Like, I assume this is the 35 gold.
Well, there's 25 there, yes.
Now, what am I supposed to do with these?
She pulls out, goes into a pocket, hands you another 10 gold. Always diligent. I hope you're always diligent with your work.
You should know better when you're doing business with a dwarf. So the keys and I'll open the other one, whatever this is.
Please don't open that in here.
Right. To Phineas, or do I get to keep this?
No, that's for Phineas.
All right. Cool.
Great.
Said no dwarf ever.
Thank you kindly.
Very well.
Safe passage.
Appreciate it. I'll send him your regards.
Sure.
Or would you rather not? And I will give him sort of confusing look.
He'll know who has sent it when you present that. Don't worry.
Very well.
She turns and without another hesitation leaves.
All right. Bart, another glass of water, please.
Another glass of water comes over as the Duke is trying desperately now to get Venarial's attention, seemingly looking towards the stage.
But I'm supposed to perform now, so I'll just look at him, smile, and then start my performance. Just gonna start with me casting guidance on myself.
So you're casting this guidance whilst he's giving a very elaborate and formal introduction. He introduces you as a very, very notably famous worldwide performer straight from the Elven colleges.
She genuinely blushes because she thinks that's way too much, even with the deception going on. Like, she has stats to pull this off, but she's really like the more he talks her up, the more afraid she is that she's gonna mess it up.
Okay.
So she's just blushing and trying to be very, oh, please don't inflate this so much. I just hope everyone enjoys the performance, please. And
The
yeah, she's
humble
gonna
Lady
cast
Venarial.
she's gonna cast guidance,
Okay.
and then do her horn instrument thing. So basically, the music she's trying to go for is kind of jazzy, but with like medieval sounds. You know how those things are on YouTube with like famous jazz songs, but medieval style. That's kind of
Okay.
what she's going for, and that's kind of the bugle kind of sounds like that too. So
So, how many songs do you go for?
yes. Um, I'll do a proper performance. Like she knows songs. She's picked up songs all over the world in her travels. It's one of her hobbies to pick up songs. Actually, she'll do a performance of songs she's heard on the material plane, and she'll do, I don't know, maybe about an hour worth of them.
Okay. With a natural 20 for a 28.
Wait. Let's see if we
Plus
get to 30.
guidance.
Yes, we do.
A 31 in total for this performance roll.
Wow.
From the start to the end of this performance, there is silence throughout the tavern, only broken by the flows and beats and tones and dulces that the music of this bugle played by Venerial.
As
Upon
the performance climaxes, can I cast thaumaturgy on the fire behind to turn it into like a white flame with like red flickers?
absolutely, as you reach your crescendo, as the fire makes this transformation behind you, and as you pause, elongating the last note of the performance, an absolute standing ovation and tumultuous applause receives you. The Duke is dumbfounded, and for what you can clearly see in the first time in his life, is actually speechless. The rest of the tavern is cheering. You hear cries for encore. You hear roars of requests, song titles that you do and don't recognize. There is general people lining up to congratulate you and introduce themselves to you for following such a performance at this grand tavern in the Golden Keep. You will be sure to know that throughout the Golden Keep, those who witnessed the
Yeah,
performance live of Lady Venerial was one to remember.
yeah, way to stay private and
On a low profile.
low profile. Yeah,
Well, there goes our cover.
Oh.
that's good. It's good. It's okay. I can change myself again next time.
Yeah, we can.
So, after being introduced to the 20th individual, the Duke is politely interrupting and whisking you away after there is just I am so and so, I am so and so and so and so. He says, please allow me. Thank you all guests. Don't worry, I'm sure you'll be the first to know when I can secure a return performance from the Lady Venerial. And be sure, don't worry, you'll get your extra discounts on the entry prices. Always remember, Golden Pear has the best prices in town for the fruits of your labors. Now, please ensure that, and he continues on whilst whisking you away, and introduces you to an individual with an oversized hat in the room. He says, good lady, as promised, may I introduce to you Captain Howarth of, my apologies, Captain, what is your current latest vessel? The Fly Skipper. And he seems to give a little bow.
Captain what?
Howarth.
Oh, yeah, you'll have to write that down.
Yep.
Of the Fly Skipper.
Lothar would have followed. He will stay true to his habit / contract of not letting his
Anyone out of his
target
sight.
out of his sight.
The captain gives a very respectful bow and just a head bow and a little bit of a nod, sidestep, whilst he lowers his torso, and he just says, "Thank you, Derek. I'll take it from here." And you can see the Duke is fighting backwards as he says, "Oh, I see. Very well. I will. I'll be back shortly." Say again.
Give me a second, please. The sound of my
No problem.
just suddenly went down. Oh, okay, no, it's fine.
So as the captain introduces himself, he says, "Derek, we go way back, me and Derek. I believe you are looking for passage to Port Kill."
Yes, actually,
Well, it
for me
just
and
so
my bodyguard.
happens that I have a vessel ready to depart at 11 o'clock in the morning, and it would be my honor, after witnessing such a, by the way, phenomenal, legendary performance, for you to be my welcomed guest aboard. If I could perhaps say have a private performance on the vessel, I would completely waiver any chartership fees or anything of the sort.
Oh, of course. It's not a problem at all.
Fantastic. I count myself very lucky. Now, I would say, do you have any goods or carriage that I need to be undertaking, or is it just going to be yourself and your
Well,
lady?
while I hear that, I will tap Lothar
Um,
on the shoulder. It's like,
Mm.
we need to have a little chat.
So my bodyguard saw a friend of his here in the bar tonight. Apparently, they're heading in the same direction. Would it be possible to just extend uh, the courtesy you've given me and my bodyguard to his party as well? I'm just
Uh,
asking in terms of if you have enough room, if it's possible, how
we
much it
have
would
the space,
cost.
yes. That wouldn't be a problem at all. How large is the party in total?
Just
I
2
believe it's
extra.
2 extra, yes.
So
In
for
my
four heads?
Yes.
Very well, very well. So just in case you unaware, the journey will be expected of 3 days, but we will be one of the fastest cruises that you will have been on for such a short journey, and I please welcome for you to visit my cabin at any opportunity should you wish. Now, I would say there is likely a few things that we will be having to clear late into the morning, so departure may be slightly after 11. However, once that is all spick and span, we will be sailing underway.
It's fine. We'll be there at 11.
Apologies
Won't
for
delay
the
you.
potential
Oh,
inconvenience.
yes?
Would the ship have extra space for 6 crates of some goods of mine?
Well,
Crates
so
of
long as
goods.
there aren't anything undue or out of order and clearance of customs, of course. I assume it
Yeah,
will
yeah.
be.
I've been informed that they've been cleared customs. They should already be at the docks. I will just sort of look at the parchment that I was given to see if there's any details on where I could find them or what they would look like, because I forgot to ask.
The parchment, it just as you sort of are. I assume you've read the parchment before you go up to him at this
Yeah.
point. You read the parchment, it just says, to F from your beloved, as promised, you owe me really fucking big time. Signed, G.
6 crates. I'll get them. I will look around, see if the gnome's still around.
You see her, she's still in the back with the other gnome. They're still in
All
the
right.
present company.
After the captain signs that off, I will just sort of discreetly scurry away back to the gnome.
Sure. So as you go and obtain the location of the information of where they are stored, you get the storage facility number, you understand where that is, you think you understand where that is, and you get secured passage for the party and the extra tonnage at a complete free of charge. Now, once a couple of hours have passed in total, about sort of an hour after the performance is completed, the general atmosphere of the room begins to change. It's now shifting from a formal gathering of dignitaries and pleasantries into a bit more of a local after hours party, as various dignitaries have left. Some have already retired to their rooms, and the dance floor is getting more and more wild than previously formalities. So, does the party wish to stay and involve themselves, or do you wish to retire to your rooms?
I kind of want to do a bit of social hopping around that will eventually end up with me talking to the other changeling.
Very
Like,
well.
she's obviously been introduced to a lot of people already, so it wouldn't be strange for her to wander around the group and just, oh, hello, it's me, blah, blah, blah. But I want her to do that sort of unassumingly, not like darting directly towards him, although that's kind of what she wants to do.
I
But
need
she
you to
wants
make an
to kind of
investigation check
dance
for
around
me.
it. Okay, I will do that.
Uh,
Investigation.
you have
I suck at
advantage, but
it.
unfortunately that doesn't make too
It
much of a difference
sucks.
with a 1 and a 6. We've had
Yes.
both 5% in 2 rolls. So,
Yes.
I will say, much to your frustration, as you're bunny hopping around the room, making remaking introductions, finalizing conversations, etc., you come to the realization that you can no longer find this tiefling. It's you think the moment's perhaps passed.
Okay.
What's everybody else getting up to?
I would like to inquire with the captain at which time I could get the goods loaded on the ship, and I would like to inquire with the barkeep at which time breakfast is served.
Breakfast is served from 7, and the captain says if they are at the, if you can get to the port an hour before departure, we can ensure that they're all there. So you need to be at the port by 10.
All right, what's the time now?
It's probably about probably 10 o'clock actually in this evening at this point.
All right, I will inquire with Lothar that I will get to breakfast at the first possible opportunity, and then I will head straight to the docks to secure this shipment mine.
Mhm. Well, for obviously reasons, I can't leave Lady Venarial.
I understand.
But
I just don't want. I want to make sure I don't miss the shipment, and I don't want to
fair
delay the
enough.
ship of the captain. So,
Well, can't you find your employers? There should be a code or something
for what?
that they can give you. You are talking or mumbling about not knowing where to find the stuff.
Oh yeah,
There
I
should be.
figured that out in the meantime. Don't you
Oh, fair
worry about
enough.
that. So, if I'm missing tomorrow morning, expect to find me at the docks.
Or dead. You know.
Either way, you take the ship. If I'm not on it, you still take the ship.
Yeah, well, try not to go for option B is all I'm saying. So, stick to crowds, stay alive.
You know, it does sound like a peaceful option. But you're right. I'll catch you tomorrow. And I will just head up to bed to catch an early morning tomorrow.
Okay. So you make your way upstairs. You find yourself on one of the first floors. So you have the ground floor and then the first floor. You realize just as you're sort of looking up and you see the staircase, it seems to be grander the higher up in this establishment you go. You realize you've been given sort of one of the cheaper rooms, though as you open the door, there is a king size bed. There is a full 4-poster bed in front of you. There is a wonderfully carved desk in the corner with a mirror, and there is a good view out over that overlooks the actual harbour itself.
I will
Even for one of the
cast.
cheaper rooms, this still is probably one of the best nights you're going to get in the Golden Keep.
All right. Right before I hit the sheets, I will cast. What is it? Snare, the trap that lasts for 8 hours.
And where do you put it?
Inside the room at the door.
Okay, you go for the door. Very well. You set up the trap,
and I will.
Yeah.
And I will just go to bed.
Very well. Aldreth. How hammered are you getting?
He's going to be sensible because the guy was like not being drunk
Okay.
in the morning.
So just the 20 pints.
So just that many. He'll get his last one. Thank the barkeeper, then head upstairs.
Human meat. Let's make a constitution roll. If you are below 10, you're in trouble.
Saving throw, or just the
Constitution
Constitution
saving
straight
throw.
up.
Constitution saving throw. On a 16,
Oh.
you have an extra one than you intended, and then one for the road, and then a nightcap. But you're fine. You know you're fine. You make your way to the room. Torburn, you hear someone fumbling at the door with a key, trying to get in. As Voldreth, the key you're giving is just not opening this door.
Would I recognize that it might be Voldreth from the way he's stumbling and sort of the heavy feet?
If he starts
Oh, you
muttering under
bastard
his...
key. Oh, you get in the...
Oi, it's the next door!
You recognize Torburn's voice from inside.
Can't read numbers. Oh.
You make your way into the next room. The key works first time. Must have been magic. Must have been magic. But as you find your own four-poster bed with an equally wonderful view looking out over the harbour, is there any evening ritual you do before you turn in?
He'll start flicking through the Dan's book and seeing if there's any updates on the chapters.
Okay, let's just pick a chapter in numerical order, 1 to 20. Do you go for anything in particular? You're currently on like chapter 2.
The chapter that had the fire on it. See if that's changed.
Fire. Okay.
Yeah.
You begin to read the expected fire chapter, and I will type to you shortly what that is. As you complete your nights, you turn in for the night. Sorry, Lothar. As I assume after unsuccessfully finding the the other changeling, Venarial eventually turns in for the night, and that is when Lothar also does so.
Question: do Venarial and Lothar get separate rooms?
They do. They are both on the top floor, next to each other.
Okay, he's going to case ways in. Yep, he's going to inspect her room beforehand, check the windows, check the door.
Investigation, please.
Immediately.
A natural 20.
Okay.
Okay.
The only roll that mattered.
A couple of things. You find in the wardrobe that is in here, there is a false back. You also find that there is a false door behind the bed. And you find that the lock has a double function on the door.
Okay. He's going to look for the same details in his room.
Because you know what you're looking for, you identify them. What you realize is between each of these rooms, there is a possibly 3-foot wide gap between where the end of one room is and the start of the next room is. But if you were just walking down the corridor, you would not know.
Okay.
No one-way mirror window.
I do not like these rooms, Lady Venarial. And I do not enjoy the prospect of you sleeping alone in one. So I've slept on my cloak before.
Join me?
I've slept on my cloak before. I will be sleeping in your room for the night.
Take the hint.
That's fine.
And he's going to check where the false door is, look for any sort of metal plate and set it down next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Set some random bits of stuff next to the window in case somebody walks in, be sure to make their noises. And then he's going to spread his cloak at the foot of the door and be ready to, like, quite literally sleep there.
Okay. To describe this room, there's king-size beds, and then there's royalty-size beds. This is a bed that
Beds
could
that you
comfortably sleep 4 to 6 adults, and they would not be touching each other.
then
Or this could
dude,
be
you
very
really don't
much a
have to
pleasure
sleep on the
house bed as
floor.
well.
You have no
Yeah.
idea just how seriously Lothar takes his bodyguard duties. So
Yeah, but look how huge this bed is. You really don't need to sleep on the floor.
Ariel
We
looks like a
won't.
I know.
dwarf in it.
There you go. See?
If anyone ever walks in, they're going to be expecting if the bodyguard sleeps in here, they're going to be expecting him to be exactly where I am.
In before it's a normal bed and Ariel turned into a dwarf.
So, as you
But he
make your preparations and you lay your traps, if you will.
You know, this is our story that we're weaving. Nobody says that the princess Vanariel is accompanied by a human bodyguard who she does not have relations with. You know, you can do whatever you want when you weave these stories.
Yeah, maybe. But some stories are more believable than others. I've heard my share.
Sure.
It only takes one
Suit
detail.
yourself.
It only takes one detail that doesn't sound quite right to get somebody snooping.
When the two high
Um,
charisma players are at opposite ends.
Yeah.
I will say this. Once the general silence and partying has completely died down, and before sleep has taken you, there is a knock on the door, Venarial.
Okay. We're gonna answer it. I guess we're both still awake, right?
Just about. I would say Solothar's taking a light sleep, if anything. So you're awoken by this.
She's gonna wake him up, yeah.
So I didn't dream that.
I'll just open the door just a little and
Okay.
quietly, and I'd rather use like, shh, let's see what it is.
Giving
He's going to
a
take a
generously low bow is Derek Ernest before you.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Here to inquire the favor.
I hope all is well. Might I come
Yes,
in for a moment?
yes, but don't mind my bodyguard.
Oh. I thought he had a room next door? Was it not to his liking?
He's a very, very prudent and suspicious person.
I see, as you say this.
I'm a very prudent and suspicious person.
I see. As he walks into the room and closes the door behind him, I need you to make an insight roll with advantage, please.
Which one of us?
Okay.
Just Ariel.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
It takes you a moment, but after he steps into the room and walks over to the window and looks out, he begins a monologue. Over the course of the monologue, it dawns on you what is itching, what is that that thing that you can't place upon. The 6 and 7 was just when were you going to spot this? You realize this is not Derek Ernest in front of you. This is a changeling. As the facade before you turns and gives a smile. He says, but of course, I think that's something he would say. as his eyes turn red, just the pupils, and he looks back to both of you and says, "Before you act irrationally, good sir," as you sort of are standing up at this point, "I mean the two of you no harm."
That's exactly what I would say if I were hired to kill someone.
He raises his hands. "I am unarmed. I have no malintent here. This is merely a ritual that very few, not of our kin, ever get to witness." And he looks to you, Venari, and says, "The question is, you know I am not who I pretend to be, but I do not know who you actually are either."
I noticed you earlier.
As did I.
But I suppose that's just
Could you say that
What
again?
do
The
you do
microphone
if you're
didn't
in the
quite catch
city?
it, sorry.
I said, but I suppose that's just how it is for us to notice each other. Beyond that, it's hard to tell what our
Usually.
intentions are.
A beautiful performance, by the way.
Thank
Shall we feel more comfortable? As he sheds his guise, and you see before you a jet black, almost obsidian skinned tiefling standing before you, with one horn completely snapped and removed, and the other slightly curling back over his head. This individual looks old, much older than the other tiefling you saw earlier today. And his natural figure goes from the previous 5'7", 5'8", to a 6'2", though immediately he then hunches over and changes his posture to be a bit more comfortable as he sits down at the desk. Orsis is my name.
What?
Orsis.
Please write that down as
I
well.
will
I
do,
have
don't
not.
worry.
Your strange English language. Okay, there. Thank you. Thank you.
It's been some years since I've seen a fellow changer. And please, I know you are on edge. In fact, I must inquire, are you even aware that your guard is also a changer?
He's not really. It's more like magic that's been spat upon him. We're not sure exactly how to get rid of it.
I apologize I apologize for outing you. Would you like me to correct that mistake? It would only be a moment.
What? How
I
can you do
could
that?
remove his memory of the last conversation.
Do it.
Very well.
Just so I can see if it's possible.
So Lothar, please make a wisdom saving throw with disadvantage.
Where's the saving throw?
God damn, that's rude.
On a 7? Okay. Orsis looks at you and
He's
just
using
says,
that glibberiness thing, right? That it's a spell. I think I know about it.
he's actually using modify memory.
Oh wow!
So he
Crazy.
says, is there anything before you came to the room that he needs to remember?
Hmm?
No,
sort of question is that?
you're not getting anything at this moment. No, you're not getting an instruction. Your mind just goes very hazy as you sort
Okay.
of just go back into almost like a trance, like a daydream. The question to you, Ariel, is when he's looking for a point to reset the memory from.
From before you changed. It's fine if you stay as earnest. I can ask him to leave for a moment. I have not
I see
really
very well.
come clean.
He clicks his fingers. You feel some elven words go into your mind. You feel this compulsion to go step outside for a moment, Salotha. And as you do, you close the door behind
And
you.
Ariel will just say, "It's fine. I can handle this conversation. It'll be a lot better if it's just me talking."
And the words usher in your mind. They say, "Make sure no one else enters the room."
He was already going to do that.
That is your compulsive instruction. You are now standing guard, and Ariel is having a private conversation.
Yeah.
Orsis says, "My apologies. I made several assumptions there."
It's all right. I'm sure they'll know eventually.
All right.
For now, I've just said it was disguise magic.
No problem.
Kind of is.
Please
It's
make a
easy to
note.
lie that way.
Put greater restoration, modify memory, somewhere on your character sheet, because greater restoration will regain this
Should
memory.
you ever get greater
Should you ever get
restoration, regain this memory.
Does it remove curse also work according to the spell?
Possibly.
Probably.
We will have to have a look. There's several things that will restore this memory. We just need to make a note that this memory has been removed.
Yeah.
So the conversation ensues.
Okay.
Orsis says, "There's something about you that I can't quite place."
So what? I see you prefer the forms of tieflings. Don't you like your true self?
Outside of the Fae, showing my true face anywhere would put a bounty on my head.
You must have done some things.
I have done many things. I have upset many people. But it was in
With
just
your true
cause.
self?
Yes.
Oh. That's wild, living as your true self. I've never attempted that. It's just at this point, different faces feel like clothes.
It's always best to find something comfortable. Though I would say when you deal with Archmagi and others who are very, very observant with magic and deceptions, there are strong enough spells to bring forth our disguises and dispel them. So choose your company wisely, though I am sure you are in safe hands here. It's more of a question as he phrases that.
A question about what?
If you are in safe hands.
I feel pretty okay.
Good.
I have some friends. We're leaving the city soon, so it's not really about being here in safe hands.
I can't quite place you because you're not supposed to be here, are you?
In a manner of speaking. But I don't entirely understand how that works, so if you drill me questions about it, I'm afraid I don't know a lot to tell you.
I do mean you no harm, and I do not enter under false pretenses. And to technically, though this is not your house, I will respect the code. Though I must request, which is your house in the Fae? Are you of the fairies' clutch?
I'm of the Fairy Queen. I'll never deny it.
I see. I appreciate your honesty. Unfortunately, it means we won't be able to improve this relationship beyond. And I will hold you to your word that you are departing in the morn. I would request you do not return. I lay claim to the gold keep.
Fair enough, and you are of?
Why don't you guess?
Oof. Give me a second.
No problem.
Let me consult the things.
Consult the history notes. What do the ancient texts say?
What do the texts say? Yeah.
The Blue Smurfs.
I don't know, the Dust Watchers?
You certainly have an eye, and I am indeed of the Watchers.
Okay.
There are plans in motion here that I do not wish to see unsettled, and they will come to pass on my watch.
I have my burdens already. I would not want to add to them.
He stands
with new quests.
He slowly walks over to you, and he very hesitantly and slowly reaches out just 2 fingers to touch the side of your cheek. Do you prevent this?
No.
No, you stop him,
Although
grab
I know
his
that
hand?
can lead. No, I won't let him.
Okay. How do you stop him?
I don't stop him.
Oh, you don't stop him. You put him into this. Okay.
Yeah.
As he just very gently
Yeah.
touches you, you feel sort of a very warm sensation as he casts a small spell on you.
What
You
spell?
make an Arcana check as he does this
Oh my god,
non-verbally.
I suck at those. Oh my
On
god, I rolled
on
a
a 0. Okay. A very slight warming sensation passes over you. You're not quite sure what spell that was. And he says, I will be watching. However, once you set sail, I will withdraw my gaze.
Okay.
I do not enjoy bloodshed between kin. Much like the dwarves, kinslaying is, I believe, our greatest sin. I will say, however, I have unfortunately had to do this before. I bid you safe travels, and I wish, unfortunately, to never have our paths cross again. Good evening.
Good evening. And I hope that should our paths cross again, that we will continue to be as civil.
Perhaps one day, though. He chuckles. Mary would have the final say. Good night. As the door opens behind you, Sir Lothar, an individual that you recognize as Derek Ernest, the Duke, walks out in a very upward, presentable manner and says, Thank you kindly, sir, for standing watch. I bid you a fond evening and safe journey in the morning.
He inclines his head respectfully.
He walks on down and makes his way down the stairs and goes out of your sight.
Okay. Lothar enters the room again, checks to see whether all his small cantrips are still where he let them.
Everything is as you expected.
Well, did we
Except
get anything
Ariel,
else?
who's a little bit sadder than she was before.
She's very crestfallen.
No extra payment then.
Nothing of that sort.
Yeah, no, he won't incite it.
Okay.
He's just going to.
Is there anything we'd like to do
he
before the
doesn't
evening
even.
ends? So Lothar.
He's a paladin. He has to incite it.
Incite it, it's fine. It's like a passive observation thing.
An 8.
It's an 8.
You see, your dice are fine. You have to trust in the dice.
So what read does Sir Lothar make? I will put that entirely at your discretion.
The thing is, I'm not sure exactly how to roleplay this because I don't know exactly what. So his memory is very hazy as to what happened.
The memory you have right now is quite simply the Duke knocked on the door. He asked for a private word with Ariel. She reassured you and granted that you can just stand outside. Do not let anyone in. You did not listen to the conversation. The door has now opened. The Duke has left, and you have now gone in. That is your memory.
So if he realizes that she is actually, crestfallen, like the player knows such a conversation would let you, he would be confused as to why after the conversation with the foppish Duke. So depends on how, crestfallen he would recognize she is. How bad does it look to his mind? Is it just, well, I'm annoyed because...
She's not trying to hide it. She doesn't look annoyed. She just seems sad.
Okay, what could he have possibly told you?
It wasn't really what he said.
That's
I've
true.
seen
It's just
that.
it's a little sad, when you see people behave in ways like this.
And knocking on people's doors at night. I was surprised he did it after I fell asleep.
Eh, don't worry about it. It's fine.
If you say so. If you say so.
You were warning me about him all night.
Not in that way, no. I mean, was pretty sure he was going to try and hit on you.
Don't worry.
But, I'm not sure his, game was bad enough to leave you like that. But fair enough.
It's
Your
not
secrets
about
are...
the game. It's not about the game. It's about how we are thrust into this world with so many qualities upon us before we make a single choice. That's what makes me sad.
Oh. It's like that for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Part of you is, well, what you think you are. And the other part is, like you said, what the world shaped you to be before you were even born.
Yeah.
No point in struggling against it. It's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just sad. There are worlds that could be so much happier if they were, willing to hear each other out.
Off in the distance,
Oh, they are.
you hear the chime of a 1 o'clock in the morning.
Nice bedtime. Listen to that. It's bedtime. Let's just
Ariel,
set off.
more often than not, they are willing to hear each other talk. But there are just some disagreements. No amount of fellowship or kinship or empathy can fix.
Probably. Anyway, let's go to sleep.
Back. Again, back to the door. Back on his backpack. And he looks exceptionally comfortable in that position, by the way.
Sure,
Not
though I'm
just
sure
experience.
Ariel would have thrown several of the 10 pillows that are on this bed in your direction. if
Yeah,
you
I feel
wanted
that
to.
would be so with like a heavy blanket to sleep on as a mattress, stuff like that.
You are
Half the bed
entrenched at the
is
front of this door. As the night rolls through, the dwarves snoring in tune, one drunk, one sober, one getting up nice and early. You can all mark off a long rest as the night completes. Else,
Is our HP back to normal?
your HP is now reset to full.
the cooking.
Got
All of the cooking stuff is reset, right?
Your temporary buffs are also removed as well. So,
Yes.
as the morning breaks, Torbrun, you are aroused first at your early waking moment. You find your trap is undisturbed, and dawn is slowly breaking over the horizon on the sea out your window.
No breakfast at the door, eh?
You make your way down. You can see the kitchen has been preparing food as after but 2 or 3 minutes of pulling up a chair, a seafood platter is presented before you. Shrimps, prawns, small amounts of what seem to be possibly crab, and a half tail of a lobster is presented for you on this platter. A hearty meal for one.
I will indulge, but I will also eat it quickly. And After that, I'll just walk out with like a crab leg in my hand to just sort of
To snack on, as you do.
snack on my way towards the dogs.
Make a perception check for me just as you're leaving.
Perception.
A 21. Just as you're sort of leaving, you would hear sort of a disgruntled, like, a bit of a ruckus, but not like excessively loud, as a small side door opens, and out of it comes a disheveled-looking individual who you immediately recognize is Duke Ernest, who is holding a large coin purse, and he looks like he's spent the night uncomfortably, possibly in the cupboard pantry that he's just pulled himself out of. Though you heed no mind and continue with your day.
I'll take a mental note of it.
Okay. At about 7:30, there's a knock on Ariel's door.
7:30? That's early.
It's early. Does Lothar
I'm
wake?
gonna be like, I'm just gonna be like,
Mom, get the door.
yeah.
Lothar will have already been awake. He'd be kneeling, one knee, sword with the crossguard upwards, a rosary in his other hand, but no words come out. He's just sitting quietly. And the knock on the door does disturb him, and he wakes up, grabs the sword with the rosary hand, and looks at Ariel to see if she's still asleep.
Is Ariel pretending to stay asleep?
I think she's succeeding for now.
Okay.
Unless something louder is gonna happen, or like somebody she knows calls out to her or something.
No other noise, just a knock.
He goes to the door, opens it, peers to see who it is.
You see the Duke standing there. Oh,
may I be of service?
Apology, I wasn't. Sorry. I have I got the wrong room? I thought the Lady Venereal was in here.
Oh, she has a very prudent and paranoid guard.
Oh, I see. An irate one at that. Forgive my tardiness. It seems to surpass my memory last night. Please, the tips for last night, and once again, a very big thank you for the performance. It was a delight, and please pass on like my utmost thanks, and I really hope to see you all in the city soon again.
I will relay my your thanks to Lady Venereal, and she will probably return it. I am fairly certain she felt quite welcome in your establishment, and you will most likely be able to count on her visit next time we.
Can man to man, can I just ask? And he says, like in a very quiet, muttered breath, that Ariel is not able to hear this part. Like, just out of 10, like, have I got a chance? Yes, no. What do you think?
If you want to try.
I've been trying. Like, how am I doing?
Well, you haven't been quite obvious enough, I'd say.
Oh,
just you know.
What's she like? What can I get her before she wakes up?
He puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "Look, this is like pulling a rotten tooth out. So, if you're interested, just tell her. If she's not, well, the rotten tooth's out. You know, if she is, all the better for it."
What, like now?
Well, wait for her to go down for breakfast, at least.
Right. Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you. And he throws you a tip. Throws you 5 coins.
Well, he claps him on the shoulder again. It's gonna save you a lot of heartache in the future, trust me.
I see. He leaves you be. You're there holding the 5 gold coins and a hefty coin purse.
He pockets the 5 gold and throws the hefty coin purse onto the. Once he closes the door, throws it onto the bed next to Ariel.
Okay. if you proceed to count it, you can add 135 gold to your pockets.
Is that we have to split that, or is that per
That's
person?
just what's been thrown on the bed, so the party can decide.
Slept well?
Yeah.
I should have wagered the Duke is going to make a move. He is quite infatuated, as it seems. And he will probably approach you during breakfast. If you're gonna let him down easily.
I'll do my best for that in any case. Even if I wanted to, we can't stay here.
For which of the many obvious reasons?
The many obvious reasons, yeah. Sometimes I like to say things that are very obvious. It occurs to me,
I would not want to spend an extra 10 seconds in this keep if I had a chance.
Perfect.
And so...
But we do need to eat. And we do need to not look like we're a couple of fugitives. So I will let you prepare for breakfast and get dressed, and I'll meet you downstairs.
Sure.
And with that, on a pausing, as part of the party is making their way towards the dock, the rest is beginning their morning routine and making their way down to breakfast. I think tonight we will call a close to the session.
Yay.
Next time on Dating Advice with Sir Lothar.